Good morning. This is going to be my past life reading. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've done one. My twin flame and my past life readings really take a lot more energy. I have been really connecting a lot better now. I feel like I'm more connected because lately when I read the cards, it's not just reading the energy of the cards. I'm actually channeling messages that are actually coming through. So really over the past 2 weeks, I've really had like these new gifts that I've awakened, that I've been working on, really grounding and balancing. Balancing has been like, the main thing I've been doing is working on balancing my energy and keeping it balanced. And then I had like that whole 3-day festival over the weekend where I was outside at the park for 3 days. I'm ate up with bug bites. Even though I used off and stuff, I'm still like covered in bug bites. Yesterday I kind of regrouped and stuff, but today I really did. I've already done my twin flame video for the day, for the week. I wanted to do this one because I had so many channeled messages over the weekend. So much clarity came to me. I had lots of downloads of information, so I was really, really excited about going ahead and getting started with the video. But with that being said, with me doing these two back-to-back, that's probably going to be just about all I get done today. Because like I said, these videos just take a lot out of me. It's a lot more channeling. It's a lot more tapping into my own energy and my own resources. I do spend a lot of my energy making these videos. That's the reason why, I'm always saying, my public service announcement is, if it doesn't resonate, just keep pushing, because I do, spend a lot of my energy channeling messages for people, and my messages aren't for everybody. So if it doesn't resonate, just keep it moving. I won't be offended at all. In fact, I tell people always use discernment. Always, check in with yourself and see if something resonates or not. And, that's what I want you to do. So if it doesn't resonate, by all means, keep pushing. I'm always having to tell people in like comments of like something I might post or whatever. And people, I'm like, look, if it doesn't resonate, keep going. It seems like there's always people who they really thrive off of causing conflict. So I've like tried to purge people like that lately. It's not that I don't feel like you shouldn't be entitled to your own opinion, but energy doesn't lie, and I feel like you came here for an energy feed because you're trying to get a reaction out of me. So do watch for those type people. That message came up for somebody. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We have the Oracle card, and basically what I'm getting with this, and I'm going to do each one of these cards individually. I'm not going to use the bottom row as clarifiers as I usually do because I'm being guided to not connect the cards, to use each one individually. So with that being said, basically the energy that I'm getting with this card is some sort of sea creature, some sort of spirit creature. And I know lately there's been all the controversy over the color, the race of the Little Mermaid, which is like got to be like the stupidest thing human beings have ever done. Let's not apply racism to magical creatures. Like what? Who don't even know these things, and who, the mermaids, and this is Neptune's daughter. That's the name of this channel. So, I know a thing or two about mermaids, because that was one of my past timelines. And I had even made a comment this week that, mermaids aren't really a race per se. So, don't try to apply the duality, the lower vibrations, the fear-based energy of the third dimension to the dimension where mermaids live. Yes, they're still living. We have different dimensions and different timelines, and they're all happening at one time. And that goes to show you how powerful your soul is. Your soul can be in many places at one time. And so it's really about expanding your soul knowledge and expanding who you are as a soul. But I am getting that for some of you, that you were sea creatures, possibly at Atlantis or Lemuria. This message is coming up very strongly, and you'll know who you are because I know I love to swim. I'm a really good swimmer. I'm very connected to the water. A lot of my timelines have involved being around the water. So water will be a theme for you. You know, I'm getting that some of you, you know, might be sirens or might have been sirens. You know, the sirens very, very closely are related to the mermaid. They are different sea creatures, but they're both, you know, in the water. So you might have a beautiful singing voice. You know, let's say you're a Taurus, for instance, and you love to sing. I'm getting that message for somebody that, you know, you were a siren, possibly. Like I said, I'm getting Atlantis for a lot of you. You know, maybe you've always been intrigued and interested in reading more about Atlantis. And so I am getting that message very strongly with this card. We have the Fire, Ace Illuminati. And so these cards here are, and the reason why I'm using these, I'm with the past lives reading, I'm always divinely guided to do, to use one deck or another, and I was guided to use these this morning, and these are my goddess cards. I do believe that the next past life reading I'm going to use runes. So do watch for it because I'm being guided to do that. I was supposed to do that this week, but I don't think it's going to happen till the next one just because of my energy. But with this card here, I'm really getting a tribal type of feeling, a village, possibly a medicine man. Somebody was a medicine man and a witch doctor. And so basically what I'm getting with this is that you could be someone who is very, very much attracted to herbal remedies, natural healing. I know how to do things and I don't know how. I've always been a natural healer. My grandfather, who I've had several past lives with, my grandfather, he's almost always been a father figure to me. He was into herbal healing too, but we had past lives where he was a doctor. In the older times when they actually did use like herbs and things like that. So he instinctively knew how to do it. And I had picked that up too because like I said, we've had past lives together. So you would know because you'd be attracted to natural remedies. Medicine possibly repels you. As far as the witch doctor thing goes, you know, I'm getting for like there's another group of you that is very magical. You know, maybe you practice some sort of maybe voodoo or hoodoo or witchcraft now. Or you've always been very attracted to those things. Those are, I'm getting this for some of you that you watch Harry Potter because you are very much attracted to magic. And this is because of this timeline that you had. And this will resonate for some. And then, you know, also there's the African culture, the African heritage. I have said before, I have been saying this a lot lately. Do not confine your mental limits on this timeline that you're on right now to the group of people that you feel like you belong to by race, religion, ethnicity, your gender, age. The soul doesn't know any of those. So, you know, I'm not taking away from people learning their culture or heritage because that's a beautiful thing, but do try to expand your mind and learn about your soul knowledge and your soul history of what all your soul has been, you know, like through these videos, for the simple fact that it's not so limiting, it's more expansive. We have Lilith, power. And you know, I said I wasn't going to combine the cards, but it was a synchronicity that I had the two power cards. I have the power of the Lilith power, and then I have Witch's Hat power. So once again, I'm feeling very strongly that there's some of you out there and understand we're souls and we could be different things at one time. In fact, there's several of us that could have had could have, like, even with like famous people, you know, there's a lot of people that always resonates with that person. Oh, I was that person, or, you know, in a past life or whatever. You know, and I have a few famous people I feel that way with. I feel very strongly the information's been guided to me, and because our soul's so expansive and it could be so many things at one time, everyone is experiencing their very own version of reality. And since we're all souls and we're all connected and we all form the universe, yes, you could have memories of being this person and someone else could have been too. I know when I first started learning about the timelines I've been on, I try to fit them into a 3D box chronologically. How could I possibly have been here and there at the same time? Well, the reason why is that time doesn't exist. So what I'm feeling very strongly with this is that there are some of you out there that are very much tied to magic, like I was saying with this card here. Possibly could have been a witch in a past life. I know that I was actually burned at the stake. That was one of my past lives. I've also was a tribal healer and a witch doctor. This was another one of my past lives, but I feel like that's coming through for, you know, like other people too, that this is something that really resonates with you. And since we are one consciousness, we all kind of share, like I said, the same DNA, the same ancient soul DNA, you know, because we are connected, we're one consciousness, and once you can resonate with that, you know, you can work with that energy to have higher vibrational experiences with people. With this Lilith power card, and this, I'm feeling very strongly, this here is a feminine energy. So basically I am getting a lot of witchy stuff with this. A lot of, and you will know who you are because you would have always been attracted to, like I said, Harry Potter, Charmed. You know, you think about the different TV shows. But definitely, you're definitely into, and you could be somebody that's possibly even into, like, maybe getting essential oils, crystals. You've always been open to the spirit realm. Always believed in magic creatures. So this message is coming through for some of you. And, you know, with this, I'm almost getting like a gargoyle type of energy. And so basically the energy that I'm getting with this is that quite possibly somebody's been an architect. I'm thinking, you know, please don't, I know sometimes I sound ignorant because I don't know things, but I'm just trying to get the message out. That architecture that, I don't know if it's Greek, you know, where they have like the gargoyles, that put the gargoyles on the building, and there's like these different mythical creatures and stuff. I'm getting for somebody. I know that Carnegie, during like the Carnegie era, I think they donated a lot of different money for a lot of different architecture in a lot of different places. I know, especially like libraries and stuff. So I'm feeling like somebody was associated with that, possibly that Carnegie Association, that foundation that did that. But definitely had to do with architecture. You could have been a librarian in a library, one of these Carnegie libraries, you know, that has like these mythical creatures, you know, like in stone. I mean, it's like that Hunchback of Notre Dame energy. You know what I'm saying? The gargoyles. That's what I'm getting with that. These right here, these are lovers. I'll come back to that one. Wise woman. And once again, like I said, there is a lot of feminine energy in the spread. And, you know, you could be a masculine energy like on this timeline. But you could, you know, like I said, you could have been something else. You could have been a woman. And basically what I'm getting with this is, you know, I see her as pregnant. She's having a baby. She's with child. You know, so I'm getting that somebody, this is the loss of a child. I'm feeling that very strongly. I know I had a past life come through last week, and it involved me and my twin flame, because I am on a twin flame journey, and basically one of his karmic partners and him were married on a past timeline, and I was their child. And I don't know all the details, but I actually died during that. Wow. I actually died during that lifetime, and he had always blamed her, so they had like that unfinished karma that had to play out. So I'm getting something like that, even with this card about possibly this, you know, either a miscarriage or a stillbirth. Or that, you know, the child was born and, you know, maybe died of some sort of childhood disease. I'm getting like maybe polio, smallpox. I feel like if this was you that had this child, it would really show in this particular lifetime, because I feel like you would be you maybe work in a position where you, maybe I'm getting like maybe CASA or some sort of child advocate, or family court maybe, where, you know, you try to protect the interest of children. Or maybe, you know, you've been very protective of your children during this particular lifetime, where you've been like, you know, just scared to death to let them out of your sight. Maybe, you know, when you were pregnant, you know, maybe you had dreams about losing the baby. Maybe you were very scared. I'm getting that this is still a feminine energy, even in this lifetime, that you did have this particular lifetime where you lost a child. And it was very traumatic for you. And I feel like this is going to resonate for some people, especially, like I said, if you work for children now, you know, you work with kids, and you're very, you know, very protective of children. Success. Basically, the energy that I'm getting with this card, and I believe this message has came out before, but it's coming out again very strongly. And it's all about, this is a businessman who's had a lot of success. And I'm getting that he possibly grew up very poor. I'm getting maybe, you know, he was an orphan, and maybe wasn't treated well. And then worked very hard to get, you know, fortune and success. But, you know, really just was very estranged from people, and really put money and finances and his business here above human relations. It's almost that Scrooge energy I'm getting again. I swear this whole thing came up before. This is like deja vu. But it's almost like that Scrooge, that Christmas Carol energy of not really caring about, you know, your employees. You know, and I'm getting that, you know, possibly somebody was a gangster, mobster, organized crime. And so very materialistic, and really putting money above people, money above family, being able to buy people. And you will know who you are if you had this particular type of experience on a past timeline. Because the message that's coming through is maybe money just doesn't matter to you now. Maybe you give it away. Maybe, you know, it's that starving artist energy I'm getting, you know, where you just want to just rage against the machine, and you have a real problem with capitalism. I'm getting that for some people. And so if you're in that energy now, and if any of this resonates with you, as far as possibly having been a gangster, a mobster, maybe, you know, it's that teamster energy. You know, maybe you owned a factory where you employed child labor. Like I said, you will know, because I'm almost getting, like I said, that starving artist energy now, where you just don't care about materialism at all. And if that's the case, that's why. And sometimes it could be, you know, we sign up for lessons. We volunteer to be in human form, to have these experiences. And once you can see yourself as a soul that's had these are what you came to learn about, it becomes more fun. Because then you can start like putting the pieces together of like what all your soul has been and where all it has gone to. This was a masculine energy that I got, that past timeline. And like this timeline, I'm getting it's a masculine energy too. But once again, you can be a feminine in a masculine energy. Do check your energy out sometime and see where you vibe at. I know I tend to be in my masculine most of the time. It's hard for me to be girly. We have the 7 of Fire, this Courage card. And basically the energy that I'm getting with this card is a situation where you have very close ties to nature. Possibly, I'm getting like safari, like I'm having trouble describing the energy. A safari, almost like the out of Africa energy that Jane Goodall, working with, monkeys, working with apes, taking people out on safaris. Very connected. And it's almost like that African heritage, that African culture, but it's more, this one here is more modern times. And like I said, I can really see somebody, riding in a Jeep, taking people out on tours and stuff. But being very, very tied to nature, rainforests, fighting for the environment, teaching human beings how to value and respect the planet, the continent of Africa. I'm just getting this message coming through so clearly. And but understand, like I said, these timelines are all happening at the same time, so they don't have to make sense time-wise. But that's what I'm getting for some. And, I feel like you would kind of know who you are because maybe you have a lot of exotic pets. Maybe you have a lot of cats now. I'm getting for someone you have a pet snake. I'm getting for someone, maybe you work on a farm now, a ranch, taking care of horses. But this here was like your past life. This is something that you were involved with, and it will resonate with you. Definitely use resonance. We have the Volcano Vitality card, and right away, the energy that I got with this card was, I've got 2 different groups of people that are coming through. I'm getting that, quite possibly, you were an islander. Very primitive islander. When I say primitive, I mean the lower timelines. And that volcanoes were an issue. Maybe, and I'm getting that you will know who you are because maybe you are the type of person now that is all about prepared. I'm not trying to laugh, but the energy I'm getting, like preparedness for like emergencies and stuff. Because you always kind of have it in the back of your mind that, man, this is a possibility, this could happen. Or maybe not a volcano where you're at, but like here in Indiana where I live at, it's all about tornadoes. Man, we get a tornado watch, we get a tornado warning, that alarm starts going off. Hoosiers, they hit the streets, they want to watch it, they want to see it. But the energy that I'm getting is maybe, you're the one in the basement, like, no, I'm going to take this seriously. I respect nature. So, I'm getting that for some. I'm also getting, nuclear power plant. I know the man who I thought was my dad back when 3 Mile Island had that whole meltdown and stuff. I guess it was back in the 80s. Was it 70s? I think it was late 70s because I was a child then. And like I said, my dad actually was the man who I thought was my dad was a nuclear power engineer, and he had to go and help clean it up. So I'm getting that somebody, worked with nuclear power. And I feel like you would know who you are now, because I feel like you'd be more of a naturalist, more into nature, you know, like this energy here now. You know, this, whoever this person is, this could have been two timelines for you. You know, one where, like I said, you kind of worked with nuclear power, and the other one, you know, maybe you're like a park ranger now as a result. Okay, video is gonna be a little long because I had a lot of messages come through. I hope you guys don't mind. With this card here, don't you kind of look like Chevy Chase? You have to be old enough to know who Chevy Chase are. Is know who you aren't. Find clarity in clutter. There's more than one way to read a map. You know, so I mean, I can't deny the planes. I can't deny that at all, that this definitely has to do with planes. Possibly maybe you've been an inventor. You know, I'm getting like the Wright brothers. This could be like a circus person, somebody who's like on a trapeze. It's definitely got to do with heights. And I'm getting that, you know, you might even be scared to fly in this lifetime. Maybe even have a fear of heights as a result. And once again, you'll know who you are. More than one way to read a map. You know, I'm getting that somebody was an explorer. You know, and maybe not necessarily with the planes. Think Lewis and Clark adventures. Think it's definitely a very primitive explorer. Definitely the lower timelines. You know, and the message that I'm channeling is that you still have a real sense for adventure. You love to travel. You know, you get gypsy lust, you know, where you're ready to go and wander again. You know, maybe you are, you know, more or less nomadic. You know, you got that gypsy free spirit now. I'm getting that for some of you. Eternal youth, energy, newness, vitality. I'm getting, you know, musician for somebody. And I feel like this is a feminine energy as well. And this is almost that gypsy energy, you know, of traveling. You know, maybe you're a traveling musician. I feel like that card does kind of go with this one, with that gypsy fever. That you were a traveling musician. Very nomadic. Definitely a feminine energy. I feel like you're somebody who still loves music. And still, like I said, love to travel. Think, you know, don't like to be tied down. You know, I feel like, you know, it would have been really hard for you to settle down in a relationship. Because you're too free-spirited. And this comes from this gypsy, this traveling gypsy musician past that you have. We have official person, and when I get this card, I read this card different ways. But basically, I'm reading soldier with this. I'm thinking Civil War, Revolutionary War. I need to go back to this card real quick, because with this eternal youth, basically what I'm getting is, and let me connect these three cards real quick, because I got a lot going on right now. Basically with this eternal youth, what I'm getting with this card right here is this is the Akashic Records. I don't know how many times people who are interested in past lives come to me and ask about the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is you. You are the Akashic Records. You hold all of the memories, all of the DNA, all of the ancient knowledge of all that you've ever been within. You really just have to meditate. I said just meditate, but you have to meditate and you have to connect to your own soul energy. And you do this by becoming more and more authentic and stripping off stuff that is not you. Every time you strip off something that doesn't resonate, something that's not you, something that is not the authentic you, and you get closer and closer to your soul authenticity, you connect more and more to those records, and more of them will come out. Something will happen, and you'll be like, that's why I do that. And so basically what I'm getting with this eternal youth is that we are there is eternal youth. You can go out and get hit by a car tomorrow. Or, you know, die of, you know, just something unexpected tomorrow. And you know what? You will continue to be, because you are immortal. You are an eternal being. You are a divine being having a human experience. Your soul is going to continue on. These physical experiences that we have and these physical forms that you keep taking are the illusions. You know, we're just simulating these things. So basically, that's the energy I'm getting with this. And with this book also. So I really had to tie those together. But what I was getting with this was like a soldier. I was forgetting how I was going to... Actually, this card was not connected to those. It's just something else came up. I'm thinking Civil War. I'm thinking Revolutionary War. Oh, I remember. It's almost like a vampire type energy, because if you think about it, I was thinking about True Blood. Remember, I can't even remember the characters' names. That was years ago when I used to watch that. But he was a soldier, and he had gotten killed, and he became I don't know. And I believe that was a theme in like Twilight too. A soldier who got killed by a vampire and became, you know, an eternal being. You know, and it's not like, you know, we get bitten and we become a vampire. We really pretty much are immortal, and we have that same energy as a vampire. We don't have to like drink blood, but you know, it's all about keeping our energy balanced. You know, there are energy vampires who will zap your energy if, you know, you don't have good boundaries with them. So, you know, once again, there still are like parasites that feed, but you have to learn that you are an immortal. And I feel like that's come through for a few of you that have actually been soldiers. And this is a masculine energy, because, you know, there really weren't female soldiers back there. There were females who were on the front line. And I'm getting this for somebody who did tend to the injured and the sick. I feel like if this if this is you, and you were, you know, one of these Civil War revolution, I'm getting mostly Civil War with this. Mostly Civil War. That you would be very intrigued. Maybe you're a historian now. Very intrigued with anything having to do with the Civil War. I'm getting that you might even have artifacts. We have this horse rider. And basically the energy that I'm getting with this is, I feel like this also, you know, goes very closely with this soldier energy. You know, because this is, I feel like this is a farmer. And didn't I say a minute ago also that somebody might work with horses now? So I feel like, you know, this kind of goes along with that as well. But also, I'm getting that you're possibly a farmer before you became a Civil War soldier. I do feel like these two cards go together. A farmer, and then you became a Civil War soldier. And then you went back to farming, you know, when you got done. So like I said, this will resonate with some people. And I feel like there's some of you that, you know, this resonates with, that, you know, maybe you've always been drawn to horses. I'm getting that, you know, maybe you, I know we have a horse track here where I live at, you know, where, you know, there's horse racing. So you might be somebody who's attracted to like horse racing. If you had this past life here, that message is coming out for some of you. And this is definitely a masculine energy. And you could be, like I said, a feminine energy in this lifetime, because a lot of us, you know, that's the reason why we all have both energies. Everyone has a feminine and a masculine energy that we have to constantly work on balancing. Otherwise, we end up lopsided. We end up overgiving, or we end up being, you know, too controlling. You know, all this comes from like our energies not being balanced. So do check out my twin flame video too, even if you are not on a twin flame journey, because I do talk a lot about quantum physics, and I do talk a lot about balancing your energies out. Well, this is your past life reading, and if you would like to have a personal past life reading where I could tap into and connect to your soul, my soul to your soul, those are $50, and I take PayPal or Cash App. Thank you for watching.